Okay, would you please activate the little Mr. Thief? Right. With these case files, recreating everything should be a snapola. Where should I start? Where indeed? According to these documents, it seems there was a witness to the kidnapping of the president. A freelance journalist by the name of Jack Cameron. However, he happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time and was murdered by the culprits. Ugh! So that would mean the place he saw the president was here. Here? At the Grand Tower? No, the Grand Tower was only built around a year ago, okay? Before that, this place contained mostly old abandoned buildings. However, 12 years ago, this place was... Now you're finally talking about some stuff that I know! Eh? Yeah, 12 years ago at this very spot was... the Happy Family Home? Is that an orphanage? What was that, pal? It was a place where children who had lost their parents could live. Or, to put it simply, it was an orphanage. They tore down an orphanage for a skyrise? Why would they do that? So the president was kidnapped at that orphanage? That's a weird place to be kidnapped. And the head of that facility at the time was Patricia Rowland. The person who ran an orphanage kidnapped the president of a sovereign... There's a backstory here. What? Apparently, Rowland always referred to it as her home. And that would explain why she constantly called the prison that, I guess. It seems that suspicion would naturally fall upon her. Patricia Rowland, Blaise de Best, and President Huang. And also... Doggett, right? Wow, this is something. Okay. Darkness that remains from the SS5 incident still casts a shadow on the present case. Okay, I'd like you to input the investigation data from Jack Cameron's murder case. You could probably assume that he was killed by one of the kidnappers. So if we solve the murder case, we'll know who the kidnappers were, right? Precisely. I'm counting on you. It's time for her to use a little techno magic, the way only Kay knows what to do. Get them beeps and bops all up ins, yo. Dang. Man, Little Thief is awesome. What the heck is this? Everything's green. I've come to expect such reactions. This is a recreation of the grounds of the facility that stood here 12 years ago. If this technology were mass-produced, I would imagine no crimes would ever be possible to be unsolved ever again. But it's just a gameplay mechanic. Don't think too hard about it. Based on the documents from the police investigation, I recreated the scene to show what it looked like when police arrived at 7 a.m. the next day. It appears a fair amount of snow had piled up here. Yeah, I heard that the footprints in the snow were prime pieces of evidence. The snow fell during the day on the day of the incident. So the snow only fell before the crime took place. Which means the footprints wouldn't have been erased by any further snow. I must make sure to pay close attention to these footprints. Alrighty, and we have got so much to look at. My God! Alright, well, I guess first things first. Nicole, Lotta, what be the higgity haps, y'all? I mean, you're still here, so I assume you've got some role to play. What a scoop! Would you look at that? Those folks have done turned green! Maybe they're sick or something. Their clothes are green, too. Well, I'll be. Their clothes are all green, too. I reckon this ain't no ordinary disease. You picked up something good. Looks like you're taking it to the next level. Yes, Chief. Looks like there's no way we'll be getting a word in. Not that I have any desire to intervene. All right, never mind. These two are just being big Dorcases. All right, now Franny and the Gunman. Now there's a TV show. Scruffy! Don't you dare say a word. I'm warning you. Mr. Edgeworth, please help me, sir. What is it, Detective Gumshoe? It's about the story behind this SS5 incident, sir. Even though Blaise may have lost his authority, there's no way you can get confidential documents this quickly. That got me curious, so I made a few calls and asked around. Franny! Did you commit a minor infraction for the sake of helping us out? Like the secret really nice lady that you are? And then I found out that Miss Von Kama used all sorts of forceful tactics too. Scruffy! I thought I warned you! Oh! You've done a lot for us, Francisca. I promise I will bring this to an end with my own hands. Franny is like basically top 10 best characters in the Ace Attorney franchise history. She's got, you know, no. I'm calling out, she's gotta be like top 5. Easy peasy styles. Yeah, what's up? I want to know some information from your face. So there was an orphanage here 12 years ago. And what's more, the head of the orphanage was Miss Rowland. Talk about a surprise. So that means that this was the SS5 incident that occurred 12 years ago. I have a question, just very quickly, if you don't mind. Oh, 25. All right, fair enough. The one where the president of Zengfa was kidnapped, right? Yes. And the only witness, Jack Cameron, I think I know what the joke behind that name is, was then subsequently murdered. However, when you consider that this case was classified as top secret, it starts to smell fishy, like there's something hidden behind this case. Even so, the people involved in this incident, aren't they all people that we already know? Patricia Rowland, Blaise the Best, and the president of Zengfa. Cases that we've been involved in recently and the SS5 incident, they're all connected, like some sort of beautifully written Vigima game. It's hard to think they're not related. Let's steal the truth hidden behind this case. I'll keep updating the info if we find out anything new, so let's focus on the areas that have changed in the recreation. Can does. But tell me about this little thief. Do you think that your little Mr. Thief would help us out once again? Who would have ever guessed? It's just little thief, no matter how useful little thief is. If there's an error with the info, the recreation could come out a bit strange. If you find anything strange, please present some evidence. Can do. So I can examine things like I normally do, even if it's just a recreation. Yep, we've done this before, so I don't know why you're verifying that with me. Please go all out and investigate every suspicious-looking nook and cranny. They're doing it on purpose. I don't have enough data to do it now, but once you gather enough info, I can recreate the scene at a different moment in time. All right, well, that's for your help when the time comes. Alrighty. The only people, oh no, he's got so many people to talk to. All right, you. 3 flower beds. And snow. Agent Lang? What's the matter? Something strange. I wasn't able to read the SS5 incident case files until now, since Blaise had all access to that information restricted. Yeah, that's right. And yet I feel like I've seen this exact scene somewhere before. What do you mean? Where did I see this? If I could just remember. He looks deep in thought. I should leave him alone for a while. And by leave him alone, I mean I'm gonna talk to him about stuff. After the SS5 incident, the president completely changed. Well, he must have felt like his trust had been betrayed. I guess it's only natural. He cut off all ties with the Lang clan, putting an end to our deep bond of trust. My old man wanted to at least apologize in some way. So we tried to go see the president more times than I can count. Of course, the president refused to meet with him. He wouldn't even give him the time of day. I don't know if it was from the bodyguards, but there were times he'd come back all beaten up. But me standing around talking about the past doesn't do jack, does it? I shall be the judge of that. For now, just keep telling us what you know. You're still as tactless as ever, and that's me saying that. God damn, man. Well, I figured you'd say as much. The fall of my old man was also the fall of the Lang clan. The family that failed to protect the president. And that's what we became. My old man started to investigate the case like he was possessed. Could someone so driven by obsession truly conduct a proper investigation? I imagine it probably wouldn't make things great. Sheesh. You really don't pull your punches, Mr. Prosecutor. Don't think I blindly trusted in his investigation just because he's my old man. His investigation was meticulous down to the last detail. Apparently, he even conducted a thorough interview with each and every kid at the orphanage. He interviewed every child? Wonder how fruitful his results were. I am legitimately curious about that, not even gonna lie. Yo, Ray! This scene sure puts a chill in your bones. Uncle Ray needs a hot babe to keep him warm. I swear to God, why are you this way? Could you please try to be a little more serious? Huh? If that's what Kay wants, I guess I have no choice. Miles, this is where it all began. Isn't that right? Yes, I fear that is the case. What was Patricia and Blaise's true goal? There's still many mysteries yet to be solved. Indeed, it's just as you say. Particularly the mystery of what'll happen to Kay Ray's K-Ray's love? Isn't it suspenseful? What? Not even a little. You just couldn't resist, could you, Mr. Shields? Why can't you ever stay serious for more than a minute? He's genuinely incapable of staying serious for that long. Man ate too much paper. Probably ate too much graphite or something, and now he's got like a brain problem. Who knows? Anyone else hanging out in this corner? Right. Please, ask me anything you wish. Okay, what were you doing with the president? You're not, I mean, that's what I'd like to know. You have my heartfelt thanks for bringing John back. Oh yeah, you never actually got a chance to say that. Oh, even the thought of him not coming back makes me... Hey, old man, don't bully my mom! That wasn't my intention! Oh, look at him go. Mommy's little knight in shining armor. He's so cool. It's not like that! Quit blabbering stupid stuff about me! John, please wait. May I proceed, Mr. Edgeworth? My actions were unbecoming of one who calls herself a servant of the goddess of law. I won't ask for forgiveness. However, Judge Courtney, I am not as well acquainted with the goddess of law as you are. However, isn't that goddess also a mother of other gods? The law makes exceptions for extenuating circumstances. It understands a mother's heart. And I'd say perhaps your goddess sympathizes with you more than you think. Mr. Edgeworth? I don't get it. What the heck are you two blabbering about? It's okay, John. I don't have a clue either. It's a parent thing. You two won't get it until you're older. Oh, fun. I mean, I don't fully understand it. I ain't no parent. Probably never will be either. But, you know, I can guesstimate. Seems the dust has settled on day one of Patricia Rowland's trial. Yes. Well, a decision is yet to be reached for some ungodly reason. I would say a guilty verdict is quite likely. I'm sure a thorough investigation into her connection with Blaze will be conducted as well. After seeing Sebastian today, I know we can put our faith in him. Man, yeah, dude definitely stepped up. Just like Kay, Sebastian is also in the midst of training for the future ahead. I see. When you say it like that, I guess we have more in common than I thought. I said a few mean things to him, so the next time we meet, I'd like to apologize to him. Oh, don't worry about that. I'm sure he's painfully aware of how completely inept he was. I'm sure you'll get your opportunity, but for now, yes, at present, solving this case is our top priority. All right, so question, did that count as talking to John too? No, it was not. What do you want? It was not! All right, cool. John, I'd like you to tell me the exact details of your kidnapping. You were kidnapped at the garbage pickup area, right? Why'd you go there? You don't have to act as a go-between. I could just talk to the old man directly. So he says. Looks like he's finally starting to warm up to you. Went to the garbage pickup to throw away the flowers I found on the body. It was nearby, and I thought it'd be harder to find there than if I just tossed them in a trash can. I went there last night too, but the gate was locked. And that's why you went there again today to dispose of them. Yeah, but when I got there, someone suddenly grabbed me from behind. And used Sleepy Z's on you, right? Catching Z's is now super easy with Sleepy Z's. Even though she was also a victim to it, she seems to have taken a liking to the slogan. She's weird that way. Whoever grabbed me was really strong, but that's all I know. I mean, really strong compared to a 13-year-old boy of much small stature, so I mean, you know. I have no idea who it was. I see, so that's what happened. So what, you went to sleep and when you woke up, you were being rescued? That's a bit of a bummer. Was kind of hoping for a bit more info than that. After the drugs wore off, did you notice anything about your surroundings? Those drugs were brought to you by Sleepy Z's. Catching Z's is now super easy with Sleepy Z. Yeah, okay, we've been there, Kay. It was kind of cold when I woke up. It was in a dark, empty room. Boxes with foreign writing on them were lying around, so I figured I was in a warehouse. The whole place was like a giant refrigerator. It was a commercial warehouse. That's right. John was rescued thanks to the collective efforts of Kay and Detective Gumshoe, because they're badasses like that. Since it was still a bit cold, the cooling unit's power must not have been cut for too long. For some reason, they didn't think to take my phone, so they used it to call for help. I see. In any case, it's good that you're safe and sound, John. I don't need your fake sympathy, old man. What an incorrigible child. He's just like a certain someone I know. Fun. All right, Grumpy Gills, let's actually investigate this damn crime. These footprints stop near the body. They must be Mr. Cameron's footprints. Sure has some big feet. They look like a size 11. According to the data, his shoes match these footprints. All right, handy dandy. How about these footprints? I'm seeing two different tracks here. The footprints here seem to lead to and from the body. These footprints were believed to be the culprits. The shoe size is about a size 7. That's fairly average. Seems we won't be able to tell who's the culprit is from these footprints. Yeah, I guess so. Let's see here. I notice, maybe I have to look at the whole last thing, but I noticed what I think might be some kind of brick. Yeah, that's definitely a brick. So, this is the eyewitness of the president's kidnapping, Jack Cameron. What exactly did he witness? I've recreated the state of his body based on the photos taken by the police. So you have. It appears he was struck in the head from behind. The murder weapon was a brick, right? Looks like the ones from this garden. Blood that flowed from his head is splattered all over the surroundings. Ugh, gross. Here, take this. It's Mr. Cameron's autopsy report. Oh, thank you kindly. I won't rest until I've inspected every suspicious-looking nook and cranny. All right, for some reason, the flowers immediately what my brain is asking me to look at. Yellow flowers falling here. In the language of flowers, it means a stolen treasure. Okay, please stop making things up. Still, this flower seems to be of a different variety from the ones growing nearby. Well, then why is it in a place like this? This bothers me a little. We should examine the flower belt itself after this. Can do! I knew it! Someone must have stolen this from somewhere and brought it here. Okay. And in the language of flowers, this means an angry prosecutor. It's funny because she is a very silly, silly girl. And I assume this is the victim's cell phone. That's right! Apparently Mr. Cameron gave his eyewitness testimony over his cell phone. What do you mean by over the cell phone? After Cameron found the president, it seems that he called his girlfriend. And then she didn't answer the phone, so Cameron left a message on her answering machine. Tape is in the case files too. You want to hear it? Please. Hello, Jill? Everything is connected. Are you asleep already? I'm in front of the facility now, but something's not right. President Huang is here of all places. And what's more, crap, the light just went off. I can barely see a thing now. I can't believe it, but it almost looks like he's being kidnapped. I thought I'd let you know. And the sound of murder. That's fun. What was that sound at the end? I don't know a lot about many things, but that sounded like somebody getting hit in the head with a brick. Seems he was attacked while he was still on the phone. Agent Lang, may I ask, what was the name of Mr. Cameron's beloved? I'm pretty sure I heard her name was Jill Crane. Yeah, somehow everything is connected. So it was true. Did you say Jill? This is why she was seeking revenge for 12 long years. Man, poor Jill. The feelings in the items Miss Crane inherited from her beloved brought her to the auction. She had come to exact revenge on the conductor, Blaze. Damn, that sucks. But Miss Crane tried to get revenge on Blaze, right? She may have wanted to get revenge on him for covering up the kidnapping case. Or perhaps she thought Blaze himself was the kidnapper. Either way, that's good info. Thank you kindly. All right, let's take a look at the body itself. Jack Cameron was a freelance journalist. He was killed because he witnessed the president's kidnapping. The blood really stands out in the recreation. It's giving me the heebie-jeebies. Like, you don't even know. Even in the original photo, it looks brutal enough. A lot of blood was spilled. The back of his head is covered in blood. That must be where all the blood spilled from. According to the autopsy report, he was struck in the back of the head with a brick. Indeed. And it's likely that the killer approached Mr. Cameron from behind. Is the victim holding something in his right hand? It's also written in the case files. It seems he was holding on to a button. A button? Did he tear it off the culprit's clothes? Interesting. Okay. Let's see here. Maybe the camera? The victim was carrying a camera. Oh! According to the case files, it seems he only managed to take a single photo. Here it is. Oh! Well, there you go. Also, somebody slapped that poor snowman. Isn't that the president? He's being held at gunpoint. This must be the scene the victim witnessed. So, the person in the coat must be the kidnapper. Indeed. They did a good job preserving their identity here. I can't tell pretty much anything. Oh dear God, don't let it somehow be Gregory. I don't need that case connecting. Oh God. Seems like some sort of disguise. If the logic of Agent Lang's father is correct, then this person should be Patricia Rowland. But why is there only one photo? Perhaps he was killed before he could take any more. Interesting. Very interesting indeed. All right, I don't really see much of anything else. So, how about... Miles said we wanted to actually look at the flower beds themselves. Okay, I just need to look at them, please. Thank you. All right. A flower bed. According to the data, this facility had 3 gardens. Oh! Hang on. Oh, yep, that confirms it. And each of these gardens contained 3 flower beds. I thought the digging up thing was There you go. That's why the... Yeah. Hang on. I've been holding on to that for a while. Yeah, the way these flower beds are lined up. Have I seen this arrangement somewhere before? You sure have, Miles. Since it was during the winter, there were no flowers in bloom. What a shame. What's this yellow flower? Why is there a single flower here? That is a lion lily. It is a very rare type of lily. Did you say lion lily? That's a flower Miss Courtney gave to the president. What's it doing here? Could it be just a coincidence? If I recall, the lion lily originates from Asia, which would be here in the actual dialogue. Anyway, in the language of flowers, it means the bond between parent and child. I never knew you were so familiar with flowers. That much is common sense. You're simply lacking in your studies, Miles Edgeworth. Or Francisca likes flowers. I mean, I guess that's totally possible. Mental note. Anywho, I'm just gonna go ahead and connect these together. Don't mind me. Perhaps this is the true nature of the monster's footprints. True nature? Compare the positions of the 3 footprints on the 3 flower beds on the left. Yeah, you're seeing it. The exposed areas of dirt match the areas where the flower beds were. So Blaze dug holes in front of where each of the 3 flower beds used to be. Which means something was buried. Exactly. Now why would he do such a thing? Something got buried under a flower bed. I believe we have a piece of evidence that tells us why. All right, why did Blaze dig holes in the ground? Because he was literally told to in this. Take that. The report from Patricia Rowland to Blaze DeBest said that something was laid to rest in front of the flower bed. So Blaze was following Miss Rowland's instructions to dig it up? But why would he dig up 3 holes? The report didn't state which of the 3 flower beds the item was in front of. Oh, so Blaze didn't know exactly where to dig. He just kinda did it all then. That's why he had to dig up all 3 spots. Most likely, yes. I'm sure Blaze himself was none too happy about that. He went through all that trouble. I wonder what he was trying to dig up. I don't have any idea. Alrighty. What else is there to do? Oh, well actually now that I think about it, I didn't really, it's kind of hard to tell because of the way everything looks, but is there something up with this pillar? This pillar appears to be burnt. According to the files, it seems there was a fire on the evening of the incident. A fire? Let's see here. Huh? It says that one of the children at the orphanage spilled kerosene and set it on fire as a prank. Kerosene, ignite a match, ignite the scene. What? Guess that kid had far too much energy. No, that seems very weird, does it not? Thanks to that, we can't make out any of the footprints near the main hall. That's interesting. Okie dokie, Loki. Anything over here? No. These playground toys are modeled after a hare and a tortoise, like from the fable. The tortoise and the hare competed in a race, and in the end, the hare lost. And now, for something completely different. It's time for a K-Quit. I'm not sure if that was a Monty Python or a Rocky and Bullwinkle reference, but either way, I appreciate it. Why did the hare lose? There are 3 choices. I already know the answer. It's because the hare took a nap. The hare's favorite shoes were stolen by the Yatagatasu. The tortoise is trained with the Yatagatasu until it became faster than the hare. Unbeknownst to the 2 animals, the Yatagatasu stole the victory from the shadows. Those are my only choices. Is it too hard for you? Okay, I'll give you a hint. It starts with a th. She wants me to pick number 3. You are a Dorcas, Kay. Queen Dorcas von Dorkenheimer. My goodness. All right, then. So, not really much of anything there. How about the place in question? This door? I remember seeing it from somewhere. Of course you would. It looks exactly like the Grand Tower door we saw earlier. But this is a recreation 12 years ago. That means this door has been here since then. Seems when the Grand Tower was built, they decided to reuse the door rather than destroy it. It's like the old saying goes, discover something new by heating up something old. I don't think that's a saying. Yeah, seems she understood the correct meaning of a saying for, oh, I guess it is. All right, I've just never heard of it. Fair enough. But if you're using a microwave to do it, don't heat it for over 5 minutes. I mean, you're accurate, you really shouldn't have it. If you're putting anything in a microwave that requires 5 minutes inside there, you should just use a damn oven at that point. Okay, so... Now what the heck do I does? I feel like I've kind of looked at everything, no? Oh, wait, hang on. This snowman seems to have had better days. This is mostly melted, but it appears to be a snowman. It has a scarf and a hat. Must have melted since it was dressed so warmly. The poor thing has even lost one of the buttons that was used for its eyes. The temperature reaches its lowest point at dawn. Perhaps it would have refrozen later. Not so fast, Mr. Edgeworth. Once a snowman melts, even if it freezes up again, it becomes an iceman instead of a snowman. What? Is that what she was expecting me to say? Fun. Lang, do you got anything new to say to me, my dude? Any chance of that? No? Okay, I was just wondering because you were in deep thought and what have you. Okay, what am I missing here? I talked to them, I checked the snowman, I checked the footprints, I checked the footprints. I checked the guy, his camera, his phone, the flower. I talked to both of them. I talked to Ray. I guess I never talked to this guy specifically. Sifu! I know it's not my place, but I have a request. Please, do a roll call just like old times. Just like old times, huh? What a lark. Guess I have no choice. Roll call, 1. I'm sorry. A roll call with 1 person is really lacking. That's nonsense. It's got nothing to do with numbers. Even though you're the only one here, the pack is always 1, right? If you think it's lacking, then howl loud enough to make up for the rest of the pack. Roll call, 1. 1. 1? 1? That man, is he on the verge of tears? All right. Did I have another logic chunk that I didn't notice? Nope, sure don't. Alrighty. Then what the heck and heck am I missing here? I shall find it. Oh! Oh, there's something left here. Okay. Did I never actually look at the... Did I just assume I looked at the brick? Well, there you go. Sometimes you make a derp. It's okay. All right, this is the brick that was used with the murder weapon. Alrighty. can find bricks like this all over the garden. It must have used one of them as a weapon. Is that the missing piece? Sure was! Oh, well, these things happen. We've learned pretty much all that we can about the situation at the time of the murder. Oh, in that case, is there another scene you'd like to recreate? Yes. Would you do the honors? I'd like you to recreate the scene where the victim witnessed the president's kidnapping. Let me just use some of my science. Right, I'll recreate the scene based on Mr. Cameron's photo. Bada bada beep beep, bada bada boop boop. Oh no! Mr. Cameron is standing in the middle of the flower beds. And then there's this mess. And the president and his kidnappers are standing on the road. My old man based his initial investigation on this man's eyewitness testimony. As a result, it led him to believe that the kidnapping and this facility were related. And that's how he came to suspect the head of the orphanage, Patricia Rowland. Yeah. But in court, Blaise DeBest treated this testimony as if it meant nothing. Why would he do that? Because he's a scuzzlord, mostly. The president and his kidnapper were not standing inside the orphanage grounds, so a connection between the orphanage and the kidnapping was difficult to prove. That's lame. I see. It's not like they were seen inside the orphanage, after all. No matter how much evidence the detective gathers at the crime scene, it doesn't mean squat if the prosecutor won't use it in court. Sigh. Blaise DeBest had some kind of connection with Patricia Rowland. I figured they had some kind of deal going on. In other words, you think that Blaise was one of the kidnappers? Certainly track with everything else he's done. He's tried to do it before. Since, rather. However, your father was convinced that Patricia Rowland was the culprit. Your father was a highly capable investigator, I presume. Might he have had some other basis for his conclusion besides the eyewitness testimony? Yeah, I figure he did, but I have no idea what it was. My old man never really talked much about this case. I have just a quick question, Lang, if you don't mind me just quickly checking. Well, you would have been 15, so how much would he really have talked about it to you? Agent Lang's father, Dai Long Lang, President Huang's most trusted confidant. The truth he discovered was suppressed by Blaise DeBest. First, we must find that hidden truth. Alrighty. Whoa. I see. Alright. I can also change the recreation if I so chose, but I don't chose. Alright. Well, hang on a second. I'm pretty sure... What did Blaise dig up? Logically, these mean that, he was involved, right? That's the impression we're meant to be getting up here. Yeah. He's obviously connected in some regard. If we suppose that Blaise was one of the kidnappers, it becomes more likely that what he dug up yesterday is connected to the abduction. Ah! What is it? I figured it out! It was treasure! Treasure! Couldn't Blaise have dug up the ransom money? The $100 million ransom? Buried in the ground until the heat had died down. It's certainly possible. I know, right? I'm not gonna say it's impossible, but I feel like that's almost too easy for a series like this. All right then, and the logic that I have left now as a result is just brick. Noted. All right then, how about we take a gander at this first? Cameron took a photo of the president from this spot. And he also called Miss Crane, right? At the time, the killer was already behind him, holding the murderous brick. Disgusting this man be, and or lady be. Cameron took a photo, yep, all right, same story. All right, fair enough. All right, then let's take a gander. All right, well, interesting. Okay, well, first things first, the button, I get that much. Also, something must have melted the snowman. Interesting. All right, can I deduce already? No? Okay, well, then hang on, let me inspect so I can deduce. About this snowman, when we recreated the scene where Mr. Cameron was killed, it had already melted. Its scarf was all soggy and one of its button eyes was missing. Yeah, but it's still missing. Indeed, at this stage, it appears that most of its original form was still intact. Although, there's one spot that looks unnaturally lacking. Poor thing! I bet some naughty kid must have plucked it off. Though, from a thief's perspective, that kid does have some promise. Was it plucked off by one of the children at the orphanage? Nay, perhaps it's the bloody button in question. This was taken by an entirely different person altogether. I can deduce things now! Let us baboose this deduce, if you know what I mean. And you shouldn't anyway. Let's get a moose. Eureka! This snowman. Wouldn't you say it's missing something? Ah, its right eye is missing. Precisely. And what's more, that missing eye happens to be in our possession. The button that Mr. Cameron was holding on to. How did it get over here? It got the exact same design as the snowman's left eye. If we assume this button was indeed the snowman's eye, a huge contradiction arises. There's literally no way he could have gotten that. If this button is the snowman's eye, what contradiction arises? I'm gonna go ahead and say the location of the victim. The victim was holding on to the button. Furthermore, the button was stained with blood. In other words, he grabbed the button after he was attacked. For example, if we were to picture it this way, after being struck in the back of the head, Mr. Cameron lost his balance. As he was falling, he reached out his hand towards the nearby snowman. However, it could not support his weight, and he collapsed while still grasping the button. Huh? What that means? Mr. Cameron was near the snowman when he was attacked? Indeed. At the very least, he must have been within arm's reach, however. It's quite clear that he would not have been able to reach it from his current position. But Mr. Cameron's footprints only lead towards the flower bed. Can we be certain that those footprints really are Mr. Cameron's? It seems we'll need to investigate them one more time. Understood. I'll recreate the time the body was discovered scene one more time. Let me just do a little beep bop boop bop beep boop boppin', if you know what I mean. I think you do. You're cool. All right, let's rock. These footprints should match up with Mr. Cameron's shoes, right? Let's inspect them again. All right. These footprints, are they really Mr. Cameron's? They're from size 11 shoes, and these huge footprints match up with Mr. Cameron's shoes. No matter how you look at it, they're moving steadily towards the center of the flower beds. But when Mr. Cameron was attacked, he grabbed the button from the snowman. Even with a great thief's peak human conditioning, your arm just can't stretch that far. I mean, I did see that one dude who could apparently detach and stretch his arm out for some reason. The science is completely messed up on it, but apparently it's something some people can do in fiction. Let alone an ordinary civilian, it'd be completely impossible. The footprints come from the shoes worn by the victim, just as the case file says. However, does that mean Mr. Cameron was the owner of these shoes? We should re-examine Mr. Cameron's shoes. All right, then I guess we'll take a gander at his digitized corpse, and we'll look at his feet. Let's see, these shoes should match the footprints. However, these shoes, it seems like they were not the ones originally worn by the victim. They stole and replaced his shoes? What do you mean? If you look closely, you'll see the laces were tied up strangely. And the size doesn't seem to fit quite right either. Interesting. Somebody stole his dang shoes. That would mean these huge footprints leading up to the victim's feet were most likely made by someone other than the victim. So then the footprints leading to and from the victim's head must be Mr. Cameron's. No, not necessarily. They seem a little too small to be the victim's footprints. So none of the footprints are his? Which way did Mr. Cameron walk from? I'm guessing the place that was on fire. It's quite simple. The victim did not walk here on his own accord, but rather, oh, he was carried here. That makes way more sense. That makes way more sense. Yeah, I get you. Okay. The question now becomes, where was he killed and carried from? Perhaps it was near the snowman after all? I cannot say that I have any idea. Let's see here. Let's see here. Anything else of note? I'm not sure. Let's switch it back up if you don't mind. Yeah. Whoa! Okay. Oh, you want to hear about the little thief's newest feature? Not particularly. What? Come on, don't say that. Using the latest feature, we can now recreate the scene at different times. Thought she already could do that. She just started explaining it anyway. Right now, we can recreate the scene based on the police investigation report and Mr. Cameron's eyewitness testimony. Please let me know whenever you want to switch scenes. Yes, yes, noted, noted. A kidnapping, a murder, and a fire on top of that. So much happened that it's hard to keep things straight. The fire was caused by a child on the evening of the incident, which means the fire occurred before the kidnapping and the murder. Did you know something about when the fire started? Indeed, there's one thing that caught my attention. If the fire occurred first, then something left at the crime scene should not have been there. It's changed at the scene due to the fire and the evidence that I have on hand. I am uncertain. It seems I'll need to take a moment to compare the two. Alright, well actually, you did make me think. Can I take another look at the snowman? I feel like that's something worth taking a look at. Mr. Cameron's body was moved. If we consider the button he was holding on to, it's highly likely that he was killed near the snowman. And I should take a closer look. Ah! Let's see. I'll rest until I've inspected every look. Okay, well, I'm noticing one thing immediately. I'm amazed that I even noticed it, but, hello. There's a brick missing here. Ain't that interesting? The rest are all in order. It's strange that only this one is missing. Okay, let's take a look at the snowman in question. The snowman has become a sad sight to look at. Can't be helped. Snow and ice both melt away with time. Just like the mysteries of the cases you've solved, Mr. Edgeworth. As time passes, those mysteries melt away while you continue to keep your cool. You do realize I'm racking my brain to solve those mysteries during a case. Fun. Anyway, hang on. I can definitely do myself some logicking now. I got that much figured out. That's pretty clear and obvious. Yo! Well, we found out where the murder weapon came from. Perhaps the missing brick was the one used as the murder weapon. Would make sense to me. Yeah, it seems to be just the right size to fit in the gap perfectly. And, well, these are the chunklets that I've got left, so... You want to maybe, hey? Yeah, you do, As I thought, it seems the murder actually occurred near the snowman. Both the button Mr. Cameron was holding and the murder weapon came from there. Makes sense to me. Indeed. Also, if we assume that the killer picked up the brick near the snowman and then tried to sneak up behind Mr. Cameron. Oh, Mr. Cameron totally would have seen the person picking up the brick. Exactly. Okay, please update the recreation. Mr. Cameron was not in the middle of the flower beds, but near the snowman. Okay, I'm on it. But if that's the case... Okay, well, first of all, that's obviously a problem. Okay. I am all kinds of confused now. No matter how you look at it, this is strange. I mean, the photo itself pretty makes it clear that this is where it happened. All the people involved in the case are gathered in the same place. Did we make a mistake here or something? One piece of evidence this recreation is based on is odd. If I had to choose which piece of evidence is fake... Oh dear. Which piece of evidence is likely to be fake? Well, the only piece of evidence that I have at all, honestly, is it the photo itself? Because, I mean, yeah, if that's how the murder took place, then... But then how does this work? Was this photo really taken by Mr. Cameron? Eh? What do you mean? We've proven that whoever killed Mr. Cameron also moved the body. For what reason would they have to deliberately move his body? Perhaps the culprit wanted to falsify the scene that Mr. Cameron witnessed. And that's why they took a fake photo? They made the president stand under the streetlight and took a photo with Cameron's camera. It would have been quite simple. Well, now that you mention it, Mr. Cameron's camera had only one photo on it, right? Indeed. In all likelihood, the original roll of film had been removed from the camera. And after loading a new roll of film into the camera, the fake photo was taken. Would make sense. I mean, surely he would have taken more than one photo. I see! So this photo must have been taken after Mr. Cameron was killed, right? Makes sense to me. Exactly. This is not the scene Mr. Cameron actually witnessed. It's likely that this photo is forged evidence. Then where did Mr. Cameron witness the president and his kidnapper? The photo isn't the only piece of evidence that indicates what Mr. Cameron witnessed. The testimony he left on the answering machine. Precisely. We should listen to the recording one more time and confirm what was said. And so we shall. Where else could the president and his kidnapper have been? If I had to make a guess, over here, I mean, they would kind of have to be. Otherwise, nothing really makes a whole lot of sense. Yeah? Mr. Cameron said this on the answering machine. The light just went off. I can barely see a thing now. There are only 2 places here where the lights are broken. The light by the orphanage. Okay, could you please update the recreation? Roger! Now that makes infinitely more sense. So the kidnapper was near the orphanage? Indeed. With this, we've shown the connection between the orphanage and the kidnapping. Okay, but, I mean, we're kind of missing the incredibly serious problem here. Why is there blood if that's not where he was killed? So that's why they moved the body and took a fake photo to create false testimony, in order to remove any suspicion towards the orphanage in court. Certainly makes sense. With this, the state of the recreation has changed completely. The time the body was discovered scene has probably been greatly impacted as a result. Then, let's go check it out right away. Preparations are ready. Since the state of the recreation has changed once again, I should press the Y button and select Change Recreation. And so we shall. All right, let's change that recreation, yo. So, you want to recreate the scene based on the police investigation data? This is the time the body was discovered when the police were investigating the scene. Shabba-doo, shabba-da. I've recreated the scene. And thus, it has in fact changed somewhat. All right, interesting, interesting. Okay, well, let's take a look at this first. Originally, Mr. Cameron's body was here. In order to be consistent with the fake photo, he was moved to the center of the flower beds. Then the footprints going back and forth from the body, could they be? Indeed. There's only one possibility at the moment. These footprints were probably left when the body was moved to the flower beds. Makes sense to me. All right then, so can we maybe figure out what the deal is with the blood? Because that's incredibly suspicious now. I'd like some information, if you don't mind much, thank you. The blood splatter above the snow. There certainly was a substantial amount. It's almost as if the murder was actually committed here. But Mr. Cameron should have been attacked near the snowman. Exactly. In that case, this blood must belong to someone else. What? But the police report said that this was Mr. Cameron's blood. The one in charge of this case was Blaise DeBest. Dude could have just lied. It would have been simple for him to falsify that information. But wouldn't it be faster to just clean up the bloodstains rather than falsify the information? He wouldn't be able to do that. Think about it. Blaise knew that Mr. Cameron's body would be discovered here, in which case the forensics department would naturally become involved. A luminol reaction! They would have discovered it with the power of science! Precisely. It would have been difficult to completely erase all traces of the blood. However, falsifying the results of a blood test would be much easier in comparison. You would just have to switch the results from the forensics reports. Oh, what a bummer. None of those documents I read were falsified. Looks like Mr. Cameron's clothes were completely soaked in blood. If the blood scattered here got onto Cameron's clothes, that would mean at the time the blood stain here had not dried yet. I see, so then this certain someone's blood was splattered here just a short while before Mr. Cameron was murdered. Indeed, that's exactly right. However, if that's the case, wouldn't a new contradiction arise in this recreation? Oh, it sure would. Okay. All right. Hang on. Then let's deduce. And yeah, and just a little bit. It should be the fire. Eureka, I say. This is a clear contradiction. Eh? You mean this bloodstain? Do you see how this bloodstain is broken up by the remains of the fire? This is proof that the fire occurred after the blood had scattered around the area. Eh? But I thought the fire occurred before the murder. Seems that information is suspect as well. But the fire had broken out after the murder. Then the child who started the fire should have seen the body and the bloodstains. And your dad talked to every child. Why then did they not come forward as a witness? It's likely they would have put Blaze at a great disadvantage. Guess we'll need to investigate this fire in more detail. Hey, you! Yes, sir. There should be some records of the fire in the police department under a different case file. I want you to bring me every last investigation report about the fire. I understand, Shifu. Oh, and one more thing. What is it, sir? Contact the house of Lang and Zhengfa. There should be evidence from the case in my old man's room. Handy? What do you mean? I just remembered why I recognized this scene. A long time ago, I saw a picture in my old man's room with a drawing resembling this scene. What did you say? However, I think it looked like something a child drew. A child? Then the artist may have been the culprit behind the fire. It should still be somewhere in my old man's room. Have them send it over here. Understood, sir. My friggin' goodness. Well, we can definitely say we've determined a whole lot of stuff, let me tell you. Shifu, I'm back. Yeah, you are. I brought the info on the fire the kid started and a photo of the drawing in your father's office. And also, I've been waiting for this. Hurry up and hand him over. The information held by Agent Lang's father. Doggin! That's Doggin! This is it. It's exactly what I remember. This was the picture drawn by the child depicting the night of the incident. Sure looks like it was drawn with a child's touch. Is no one gonna point out Doggin? Hello. As I thought, the one who drew this is most likely the child who started the fire. And also, Doggin! Why is nobody bringing this up? Shifu! What now? Sorry, but it's gonna have to wait. Hey, Mr. Prosecutor. Why do you think my old man had this? Perhaps he obtained it during the course of his investigation into the incident. Although I don't know why he would have concealed it. Agent Lang, might I be able to see the details of the fire? Yeah, sure. Teamwork! Allow me to read it post-haste. The boy who started the fire snuck out of bed on the night of the incident. Seems this boy went missing several days later. What? Don't tell me that he witnessed something he shouldn't have. That's horrible! He was only a child, after all. Well, I'd hate for that to be the case, but can't rule out the possibility entirely. Ugh. Huh? Apparently, the boy left some stuff behind at the orphanage, and it was taken as evidence. What's this? Well, I know where that goes. That's... What's that doing here? Mr. Prosecutor, do you recognize this? Yes. I know one piece of evidence that's related to it. Which piece of evidence is related to what the boy left behind? Probably the Moo doll that ain't got no horn! I don't know what it's doing here, but isn't that the missing horn from this Mozilla doll? No way, you mean this came off the president's? You know of it? Yeah, I've noticed the president kept it close by as a decoration. Oh, so that was legit. I always thought it was strange how one of the horns was missing. If you twist the horn, this doll will play back any previously recorded audio. So if we put the missing horn back in place, we might be able to hear a different recording. That would be so useful! Indeed, it is possible. The doll is currently on the 51st floor of the Grand Tower. Let's go steal it. Hey, you! You heard that, right? Yes, sir. I'll be right back. Also, I do have to wonder what it is he's going to be saying. Shifu, I've got it. The mighty Mozilla doll. Well done. Give it to the prosecutor over there. Cool, it's mine now. If we insert the horn found at the orphanage into the doll, it's now a complete dolly. It's a perfect fit. Well, can you hear anything? Mr. Huang, it's Amy. It's been a while. I saw the news that you would be coming to this country. I was really nervous about doing this, but I decided to send you a message. Please stop the playback! Judge Courtney? What's wrong? Stop it, now! It's a boy. Your son, he's just been born. I'm sorry, that's all I wanted to tell you. His name is John Marsh, hello! It's a fine name for him, don't you think? They don't look anything alike, but okay. Yeah. So, Courtney, now is an incredibly good time to tell me whether or not John is a biological child of yours. Because again, you'd be really young. Marsh? Did she say John? I'll be waiting in the courtyard of the orphanage at midnight on February 9th. Even if it's just once, I want John to be able to meet you. I'm sorry if I'm being selfish, but I'll be waiting. No way. That was my... John. What's the meaning of this? Miss Courtney, John is not my biological son. I would have kind of hoped he's adopted. Did John know about this? Of course he knew. John's mother, Amy Marsh, passed away about 5 years ago. She and I were cousins. Since we were young, we've always been really close. We were often mistaken for sisters. That's why when she passed away, I thought it was only natural that I look after John. Also, there were circumstances which prevented me from revealing his father's identity. The fact that he was the president of a sovereign nation, yeah, I can imagine why that might be a problem. I never even told John his father's name. Now it's all been revealed thanks to the recording on that doll. Damn! That's a bombshell! Did John's mother send this doll to the president? Hey. John, was the president really my dad? Yes, he was. Before you were born, Amy worked as a diplomat in Zhengfa. A diplomat? So that must be how she became acquainted with President Huang. Well, she did a whole lot more than get acquainted. Hang on, didn't you tell me she worked at the orphanage? Yes, after returning to this country, Amy left her job as a diplomat. She always had great passion for charity work, so she began working at the orphanage. Not so fast! Hey, Miss Courtney. So this Amy girl, she called the president there herself, but she never showed up at the scene of the SS5 incident. What's with that? Amy couldn't make it. Apparently someone had been following her the whole night. Perhaps it was Blaze? I can't say for certain, but it's possible that it was his doing. After that, Amy never got another chance to see the president again. So she died 5 years ago. This conversation must be painful for John. Oh, right. Hey, John, you thirsty? How about I buy us both some juice? We can go together. I'm a part of this too. I'll listen until the end. Besides, I can afford to buy my own juice. Shot down by a kid. John, do you understand the reason I met with the president 2 days ago? The secret meeting from the 2 nights ago. I wanted to tell him about Amy's death and that you were alive and well. But I see. That's why you couldn't tell us your reasons for meeting with the president until now. I get it. She would have had to reveal his connection with John. I brought a bouquet of lion lilies so that he would understand I truly did know about Amy. Those flowers are a dear memory to the president and Amy. The first present she received from the president was a bouquet of lion lilies. But now, even he has passed away. If only he were still alive. Perhaps I could have introduced him to John. This is depressing as hell! Shifu! I'm sorry to interrupt this atmosphere, but there's something I need to say. What is it now? Can't this wait? Well, actually, there's one last item that's been delivered here from Zhengfa. I have here the president's will. What? The president's will? My old man received a great number of special medals from the president himself. As a token of his trust, the president left his will in the protection of the Lang clan. Dang, I guess he did. Those medals in that will, they were the pride of our clan. Our family treasure, so to speak. And it was on a scroll, convenient for his sprite set. This is... Agent Lang, Does that will have something to do with the current case? You bet it does. It says here, I hereby acknowledge John Marsh as my own son. What? John's name is in the president's will? Are you certain that will was written by the president? Yeah, he entrusted it to the Lang clan even before the SS5 incident took place. They'll have to appraise it back home, but by the name of the Lang clan, this is the real deal. Ji Huang was the president of an entire nation. The existence of his son would have caused considerable controversy. However, he left behind a will just in case. This makes it doubly sure. I still can't believe it myself, but there's no room for doubt. John Marsh, you are the son of Ji Huang, president of Zhengfa. Sheesh. John. John!